and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Savvy Radio Show, and I have a great guest today. His name is Mike Lewis. He is a local real estate investor. By night, by day, a dad, all that fun stuff, and we're just excited to learn more about Mike. And I think Mike has just been a great personality and a great guy, and he knows how to borrow money. And I'm in the process of writing a book called Savvy Money, and it's about borrowing money. So, but other than that, this is what we're about. So, hello, Mike.
Hello, Stephen. I'm pleasured to be here.
Do you like Mike or Michael?
Mike is fine.
Okay, cool. All right, so how'd you get into real estate? That's usually my first question.
Real estate. My wife and I saw everybody that we knew that had money and they had real estate. So we said, we have to buy a rental house. And my day job, I work as an administrator for an eye surgeon. And I was talking to my eye surgeon. I said, I want to buy a rental house. And he said, you need to go meet up with Robert. And Robert can tell you about buying a rental house. And
this is Robert Elder.
Robert Elder,
okay,
yeah.
Cool. Local investor with like 500 houses.
Yeah, he's the man.
Yeah.
So I said, well, what does Robert know about rental houses? And this is 5 years ago. And John said, well, he has about 250 houses. And I'm like, yeah, he knows something. Let's set up a lunch. And literally 30 minutes later, I had lunch with John and Robert Elder. And everything I thought I wanted to do about renting a house, Robert basically told me that wasn't smart and I should do it his way. And so I started going to his RIA meetings. About 4 months later, I bought my first rental house.
Okay. You make it sound so easy. Were you nervous? Were you scared? I mean, that literally is the only way you were talking to your boss. He's your boss, right?
Yeah.
Eye surgeon about what tipped you into real estate. How'd you hear about it? Like, did you read a book? You just saw money, people that had money, and how they had money was through real estate.
Absolutely. And then, started talking to Robert and started going to the RIA meetings. And from there, I did what everybody does. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and then I read The Millionaire Real Estate Investor by Gary Keller.
Great book.
And that one really got me going. And so through going to the RIA meetings, there were some guys doing local house tours, kind of like you do with the Savvy Bus Tour. And so I just took all the free house tours I could get and picked people's brains. And then I said, well, if they can do it, you look around a room at a real estate meeting and there's 100 people and I'm smarter than at least half of these people and they're doing it. So why can't I do it? So throw your line in the water and go.
Okay. So how'd you tell your wife?
She was in. She wanted to do it because we were kind of saying, man, we gotta buy a rental house. So she actually, the first several houses, she was out looking, and we went through them together. And we have a lady that works with me. Her husband is a general contractor, so I paid his gas and paid him a little bit of time to go and look at houses with me because I still don't know how to fix anything. I can't even patch a hole in the wall. So I took him with me. And he kind of pointed me in the right direction and would give me a general ballpark as to what things would cost to fix.
Cool. So then how'd you get a loan? Did you have money?
So in about 2004, my wife and I set up a variable life insurance contract on me. So I'm worth more dead than I am alive, which is kind of scary.
Me too.
And part of that grows a cash value that you can borrow from yourself. So the first house that we bought, I had $40,000 in cash value, so I borrowed from myself, bought it in cash, fixed it in cash, and then
Okay, so you borrowed the money from the life insurance policy?
Yes, from my life insurance policy.
So you saved up $40,000 inside this life insurance policy, and then you just
took it out.
So how'd you do that? Tell me about that.
So all you do on a variable life is you can take a loan from the policy or you can take a distribution from the policy.
And what'd you do, a loan?
I took a loan because if you take a loan, there's no tax consequence, so I don't have to pay Uncle Sam for borrowing. And I have to pay myself back like 5% interest, but I can pay it back whenever I feel like it. So I still have a $40,000 loan to myself.
And life insurance.
And you can use that money, you can put it in your checking account and just write a check on it.
Sweet. Is it similar to like a self-directed IRA? Because you have to pay yourself, and it's a minimum of 5%?
No, it's kind of just part of their rules. And my particular policy is you pay it back at 5%.
Okay.
So it's growing interest. I have to pay a little more than $40,000 now because it's 5 years later.
Sure.
But I can pay it back. I don't ever have to pay it back if I don't want to, or
Okay.
I can pay it back.
Now, what company did you do this with?
It's just New York Life.
And then do you call it local agent, or was this online? Or
I have a local agent, but if I want to borrow from the policy, there's a 1-800 number. I just call them and they look up my policy and say, "Well, it looks like you have $10,000 cash value. How much would you like to borrow?" And I said, "Well, give me 8." And
Okay. Okay, so how much you pay in this monthly, and how does it work? Like,
So
a lot of people don't know about life insurance.
We set it up again when it's like 2004. So I was just newly married, and
Same with me.
Yeah.
My wife was like, "Well, someone suggested I get life insurance." Okay.
So we got life insurance and a will and a trust and all that stuff at a kind of a young age,
Smart.
and we felt like we were really smart.
Totally.
And we put in $700 a month, which pays for my life insurance. I had $1 million worth of life insurance, and then it's like $550 of that went to the cash balance, and it's set up in mutual funds inside of a life insurance. So you can allocate it however you want to. Most of mine just tracks the S&P 500. And so it's kind of an investment. It was a forced investment. It came out of my checking account, and it was as big as my house payment.
$700 is a lot of money.
Yeah, and we were just.
But look what you're making it. You borrowed 40. What are you making now off of that?
Well, just that got me started. So I've got 52 doors worth of rental property now. So
Since 2011.
11.
So we're looking at 4 years, 50 properties. You are assets. You're killing it. So let's talk about more banking. Okay, so that's a great strategy out there, folks. Use your life insurance. It's called a variable life insurance.
Variable life insurance contract.
New York
yes.
Life, I'm assuming.
That's who I used, yeah.
Okay, I have life insurance with Lincoln, but I have term, so no big deal. Great strategy. I haven't heard that. Okay, so now you don't have life insurance for all your properties.
Sure.
Tell me about the process when you got to go to a bank.
So through my regular job, again, I work for an eye surgeon, and typically commercial bankers come into the door every couple months wanting our business because they say, "You guys borrow a lot of money. We want to loan you some money." And doctors can pretty much get money for anything.
Sure.
So if I told them we wanted to, build a zoo on our roof, somebody would loan him money. But we have a few bankers that we like and that we use, and so a lot of these banks come in, and I basically just tell them I have a great relationship with another banker, and I'm sorry, I'm not interested. Well, one of these guys came in, and his bank was literally across the street from my office. And he's a young guy. He's younger than me. I'm 36. He's probably 32, 33. He says, "Hey, I want some of your business. I'm right across the street." I said, "Well, from an equipment perspective, we have a banker that we use. I'm not changing. She's going to retire in 5 years. Maybe I can call you on that. But my boss, he's starting to buy some real estate. He's interested in some commercial, and I want to buy some residential real estate, and I'm going to buy a house in the next couple months. If you want that business, I'd be happy to call you." And he said, "All right, yeah, come on over."
This is your first loan.
This is my first loan.
Okay, let's also now you were in real estate before your boss.
Yes, factual.
So, yes, hopefully he hears this. Sometimes your staff members are smarter than you. Anyway, so you're the one all into real estate, got this ball rolling. Now you're running this guy's company, this surgeon, and then now he sees that you don't need this day job. And in essence, you have these rental properties, and now banks are trying to loan the boss money, but they're like, "Hey," and now he is buying rental property.
Absolutely. Now, in fairness to him, he did have the commercial buildings that our offices are in, so he was technically a real estate investor before me. But residentially, yes.
I got to tease him when I see him.
No, he's cool with that. He's a good guy. So yeah, now he's buying residential and some apartment buildings as well. But anyway, so what I did before I bought my first house is I went to this banker and said, this is what I want to do, because I'd already talked to Robert Elder, and Robert basically told me that my goal should be to get every dollar that I put into the property back out.
That's right.
Which I thought was amazing. I just didn't understand that. Robert said he could pull money out at closing and put more money in his pocket. And I said, "Man, that's pretty cool."
Called no money down.
Yes. Well, I didn't know that existed. So I told the banker, I said, "Look, I want to buy the house in cash. I want to fix it up in cash. And then I want you to give me 75% of what it's worth after repairs." And he said, "Yeah, we can do that loan." He said, "You're going to own it free and clear?" I said, yeah, I'm going to own it free and clear. He said, all right, we'll do that. And what we'll do is we'll send out an appraiser, and whatever he says the property is worth, I'll write you a loan for 75%. I said, cool.
Excellent.
How many of those will you do for me? And he said, I could probably get you about $500,000 before I have to, change the structure. I said, you can give me $500,000. He said, yeah. And
Now, what assets have you had? You only had the one house?
I just had the house I live in. I didn't have nothing.
Well, not the $40,000 that you used.
I hadn't even bought the house before I talked to the bank. I talked to the bank before I bought the house.
Smart. Okay.
Because I wanted to have a kind of an out strategy to get my money back.
Excellent.
But one of the things that Robert coached me on was to have an LLC. So I already had a company in place. And so when I did buy the house, I bought the house in the name of my company. And then that was my company asset. So when I went to the bank, now I had a company asset. And the first deal, they'll tell you they loan on your personal financial statement.
Guarantee.
They're going to loan on your credit score. They're going to loan on that. The more houses you get, the more they could care less about your personal, and they care 100% about your business.
Also known as a portfolio.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you built a relationship with this bank. Can you say the name of the bank? Is that cool?
Yeah, it's Oklahoma Fidelity Bank.
It's Oklahoma Fidelity. And then, so you're borrowing commercial money?
Commercial money. I'm borrowing 15-year amortizations on 5-year balloons.
Okay. Ooh, lock for 5. So let's walk me through a process. You find a deal, you negotiate, they come back, they're like, okay, how do you communicate to the bank? How do you borrow money? What's your process?
So this banker, this particular bank, every house that I took him, I owned free and clear somehow, whether it was through a hard money lender, through a person that I knew that loaned me money, or it was my life insurance money that I was recycling. So the first house, I bought it in cash with my life insurance money. I fixed it in cash. Then I had a house with a renter in it. Went ahead and got it rented. Went to the bank and said, look.
Debt-free?
Debt-free. The loan officer's name is Clay. I said, Clay, I've got this house. I've got a renter in here. She pays me $750 a month. I think it's worth $60,000. I got 45 in it. I want it all back out.
Sweet.
And he said, all right.
You say it like that. I want it all back out. They're a little, conservative.
Well, but
skin in the game is one of their terminologies.
So there's in this particular bank, he knew my strategy. I was real upfront with him. He knew exactly what I was doing.
Go Clay.
But he knew that I owned a free and clear asset. So he's basically taking a free and clear asset, and he's loaning on that asset.
Sure.
So he didn't really care what I had in it, as long as it approved.
For whatever number it was.
So what did it? So it appraised for 58. So I got a loan for 43.5.
So
I only had
$1,500.
I only had 4,000 or 40,000 in it.
Awesome. So you got cash at closing?
So I got a little bit of cash at closing on first deal. I was really
were you like what was how long did that take? Like when you found the house, fix it up, what was your whole total process?
I started offering on the house in October. I bought the house in January, and it was fixed in March, and I had a loan in April.
Okay, so let's just get excited. So you buy a house with this money that you've been saving up through a life insurance policy. You pull it out, you fix the house, and then now you get a bank loan. In essence, you got $1,500 back or some cash back.
Yeah.
Then now this asset, this house that you just purchased is going to make money for you and your family for life, right? I mean, in essence, for free.
Absolutely.
So you got your $40,000. What'd you do with the 40 back?
I bought another house.
Bought another house. Didn't put it back into the life insurance?
No, never. I still haven't.
Just kept cycling it, rolling like a snowball.
Absolutely.
So what's your cash flow on $750 a month? Your payment? Can you remember? You get some?
Absolutely. That's my first deal. I know it like the back of my hand.
Okay.
My payment was $386 a month. I paid about $90 a month in insurance, about $80 a month in taxes. And this particular house, it's not in a flood zone, but they offered me flood insurance for $300 a year, which I bought and literally just used this week. So my cash flow on that house is only $94 a month.
But it's free.
So
well, not really, because you get depreciation.
Absolutely. Yeah, depreciation and then asset appreciation. So now my $60,000 or $58,000 house is worth $72,000.
Yeah, it sounds like it at $90 a month in insurance.
Oh yeah,
it has to be.
It's salty. It's a good deal. And we call that, my first daughter's name is Ava. That is Ava's college house. And she knows that is her college house.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, super cool.
All right, man, I'm juiced up. All right, let's give some advice. Okay, how many banks do you work with now?
I work with 4.
4, and how'd you find them? Like, tell me about how you found those banks. And are they real estate friendly banks? Or are they just like Class A?
They're very real estate friendly banks. I'm a big fan of local banks that don't have very many branches, because I can talk to movers and shakers. They make decisions. They don't have a bunch of corporate policies, and we can get an understanding, because they need my business and I need their business.
Right.
So Oklahoma Fidelity Bank did my first 13 houses. And when Clay had told me that he could get me around $500,000,
you tapped it out.
He was accurate. And then after $500,000, they're still happy to loan me money, but they wanted to change the deal. Now they want 20% in each deal. So instead of giving me my 75, they want to give me 75 less 20%.
Well, is it like, did they penalize you? What's the lowest on the contract or the appraised value?
No, they just said,
whatever.
They said, we're not giving you all your money back anymore.
Okay.
But when I first started, I thought $500,000, that'll last me, 5 years. It lasted me about 15 months.
That's awesome. So you're killing it. So, okay. So now you're tapped out. Like, I have this problem right now, actually. I'm like, the bank's like, you got to do something. You got to refinance. You got to go to another bank. What was your strategy? What'd you do from there?
Well, Robert had told me that banks got weird at some number. He said the number changes and is different by banks, where they'll do everything you want them to do, and then all of a sudden they want to stop. Well, it's happened to me twice now, where I've had deals in the works and the bank has changed the terms on me.
During the appraisal, during the whole...
Like, I have 2 houses that I'm in the middle of working on when Oklahoma Fidelity tells me they want my skin in the game. Well, I'm not planning on having skin in the game, because I didn't buy them that way.
True.
So I'm like, oh man, what am I gonna do? So through my office again, the guy that owns the real estate loan on the building that we office in, I called him and I said, hey,
this is another bank.
This is RCB Bank.
I just got a loan there.
They're good people.
Oh, that's right. You told me in Edmond.
And Jim Gray at RCB Bank in Edmond, he's a Oklahoma State guy. I'm an Oklahoma State guy, so we get along pretty good there. I said, hey, Jim, I'm doing real estate. This is the terms that I was getting, and I want to get that again. And he says, you got free and clear houses? I said, yes, sir, I do. He said, you only want 75%? I said, only? Yes, that's all I want is 75%. Because he was willing to give me 80. Whoa. I said, but I only want 75.
I'm conservative.
That's right.
I'll do this.
Look at me go. So he says, sure, I'll do some loans like that. I said, very good. Now, this last bank, he said he was going to cut me off at $500,000. What? Give me an idea what you can do for me. He says, yeah, we could probably be in that neighborhood. I said, all right. So within 2 weeks, he had 3 deals from me. Bang, bang, bang. And he's like, you're not kidding. I said, no, I'm not. And
How do you find time?
And then about 2 months later, he got 3 more deals from me. Now, then his loan committee started getting nervous that I was too soon into this game. They're loaning me too much money too fast. So my $500,000 turned into about $400,000 before they wanted me to put 10% in. I'm like, guys, you're killing me. So bank number 3, I found from the hard money lender that I was using. I've been using Great Plains Funding for hard money. It's expensive money, but if I need it, like right now, if we walked down the street and wanted to buy a house, I could just call him and say I want money for that house, and he'd give me money.
Sure. And because your track record.
Oh yeah.
How many times have you used hard money?
10 or 12.
Okay.
A lot.
So, a hard money lender refers another bank.
Yes,
because is it his motive is to cash out?
No, because he has a line of credit with First Enterprise Bank.
Enterprise.
And that's what he uses to loan hard money. So
did they change their name, Enterprise, to Coppermark?
No, First Enterprise.
Okay.
It's they only have like 4 branches in Oklahoma City.
So First Enterprise.
First Enterprise Bank, and my loan officer there is Stuart Weaver, and so my hard money lender has a line of credit with Stuart. So he has a line so he could hard money out to people. So he has $1 million of line of credit at this bank. He finds great
real estate rookie investors to load 15% on. So he's borrowing it at 4% or 3% or 5% and loaning it to
15.
Mike Lewis at 15. But you're not there anymore.
No, but you know what? Mike is happy because he gets money, and I don't have to put any money down. I don't have to fix it. This is a great deal for me.
Low risk.
Because I'm good at buying houses, just like you are. I mean, you get good at buying houses.
Yeah.
So the percent that I pay doesn't bother me near as much as getting an asset for free.
So let's stop, pause there, because that was wisdom. Some people get jammed up on the interest rate. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're paying 10% or 8%. If the deal, and you start crunching the numbers, I pay $120. My bank that I use, I only pay $125 for an appraisal. I go to another bank, I'm paying $550. When you add all those numbers, all your costs, your origination fee, it works out the same if you AM it over. But I got the asset for free, like this bank, no money down.
It's amazing. I love.
So people, don't worry about the interest rate. Worry about the deal. The hardest part to this game is finding the deal. Not necessarily hard anymore, but quantifying it as a deal.
Absolutely. I mean, my whole goal is to build assets.
Sure.
Because without assets, you don't have anything.
Sure.
And so build an asset. If the asset cash flows and I have to pay 20% to get it, I would pay 20% as long as I don't have any money in the game.
Sure.
If it's somebody else's money, I don't care. So his
Third
motivation,
bank,
so in order for me to use his line of credit to borrow hard money, First Enterprise Bank had to approve me as a borrower. So they already approved me to borrow Stan's money, so to borrow from the hard money lender. So they have to bless...
At the 15% or the 14%?
Yes.
Okay.
So before they give Stan money to give to me, so Stan is the hard money lender,
Sure.
then they have to approve me as the buyer. So they've already approved me. They already have the appraisal on the house. They have everything, and then I'm taking my loan and giving it to somebody else. So Stuart, the loan officer, asked Stan, the hard money lender, to introduce me
to the banker
so that he could keep my loans. I'm like, this is even better. I don't have to pay for an appraisal again.
So you can do acquisition.
So so I did acquisition with the hard money,
Right.
and then I just
Flip it over.
immediately turned it into permanent financing. And he was giving me 80%, which I shouldn't do. That's one of the things you should not do. Don't loan at 80%. But
we're going to talk about what you shouldn't do here in a minute. All right. So, okay, tell me the process. So you acquire the asset with the hard money lender at the same bank.
yes.
And then you're like, I got to put this on perm. I got it all fixed up. And then you flip it over to the bank officer.
Yes. So let's say I borrowed money. Let's say it was for round numbers, a $50,000 house.
Okay.
And I borrowed $35,000 from the hard money lender, but I put an extra $2,000 in myself.
Okay.
They'll give me up to 80%
Of the ARV?
of the ARV, which is $50,000.
Of the original appraisal when you first got the hard money loan,
Yes,
and they accept that.
So then they are giving me not only what I borrowed from the hard money lender, but they'll put a little bit of cash back to me if I had to spend anything in the house or if I just wanted a little cash in my pocket, because they're happy to loan at 80% of the asset's
Sure.
value.
Okay, so are you done with hard money?
I still use it from time to time. I'm using it right now on a rehab because I needed $100,000 to do a rehab of a house.
And what was the ARV, the after appraised value, if you don't know what ARV is?
200,000. I bought the house for 20. Needs 100,000 in repairs.
It needs something for 20.
That house is a whole story in and of itself. It's for
man.
It's for some friends of mine. We're just kind of working a deal that they can. My repair man, actually, my general contractor, he's going to live in it.
Okay, so I've got tons of burning questions. All right, what are you in? How much are you in debt?
$2 million.
Hey, that's a number that rings in my mind as well. Does your wife know that you're $2 million in debt?
She does. She's
about to right now.
What's really funny is I've all my loans were single loans, so they were all small commercial loans for between $40,000 and $50,000. About a year and a half ago, I consolidated 13 loans into a almost $600,000 loan and shortened the amortization down to 12 years, 13 years actually. And then, like literally 2 weeks ago, I consolidated a whole bunch more loans into $1 million loan and put that on a 12-year amortization. So 12 years from 2 weeks ago, I will own every property that I currently own free and clear.
Right.
So yeah, when she saw the number, it was 900 and some change. It was right near $1 million. She said, "That's $1 million." I said, "Uh-huh." She goes, "What is that?" I said, "Well, those are loans we already have. I just put them together, so they look really scary on paper."
Right. So I know when you talk to friends, what do they think that you're in real estate now? Do they try to jump in, or are they supportive, or they think you're psycho? I mean, what's the vibe there with your regular friends or college buddies or wherever?
They know I'm in real estate. A lot of them don't ask a lot of questions, and you find as you get into real estate, and people listening will find some people get it and some people don't. So
Sure.
the people that get it, I'm down. We'll talk about real estate all day. I could talk about it literally 24 hours a day. And people that don't, I don't even bring it up because they, it's too much downer. I don't like negative mojo. You tell me I can't do something, you tell me, oh, that doesn't work, or tenants are bad, or Section 8 is bad. I get so sick of negativity. So I talk real estate with people like you and friends from the RIA meeting that are uplifting and supportive and understand, because those are the people I want to be around.
Sure.
And people that don't, I don't talk about real estate.
Yeah,
I talk about sports or
I'm real quick to
something
just
like that.
walk away now. I don't know. I just try not to. I don't try not to say anything at all. Just live your life and to the best of your ability.
That's me.
All right. What advice would you give someone that's new? Like, I'm getting some feedback. This is only the third episode. We're just gonna release this one because it's so awesome. I was gonna hold this one for later, but we're gonna drop this one. But anyway, this is the third episode. This is a great interview, but I've already gotten so much feedback. How do I do it? How do I get involved? What advice? Some people emailed me and said they don't even know what ARV is. So what advice can you give someone that's really thinking about real estate? What could you, something that you've learned, some advice that you really...
So people ask me all the time how to get started. And literally the best thing to do is get in touch with your local real estate investment association. Most major cities have one. If they don't, drive an hour to get to one.
Sure.
Go there and learn, because people in that setting, and we see this at our Oklahoma City meetings, if you come up to me and ask me a question, I'll answer it. If you say, hey, I don't know anything, well, I'll take you with me. People at those meetings that have some experience and have some knowledge love to share it with people that want to work. I won't do the work for you, but I'll be happy to show you. I've taken 12 people with me driving around looking at houses. This is exactly what I offer. This is exactly how I do it. And some people say, hey, would you come and look at a few houses with me? Sure, I will. Yeah. I'll make some time. I'll go look. I've got 2 people that I've helped buy their first house in the last 6 weeks.
So cool.
And so, but anyway, you go to the real estate meeting, get plugged in.
Okay.
And then if you're talking about banking, how do I get a relationship with a banker?
Yes.
Bankers love to eat, just like the rest of us.
For free.
Now, bankers, they're usually taking people out to eat. But if you go and ask them, hey, can I take you to lunch? I want to pick your brain. I want to learn something from you. They're going to say, yeah.
They'll remember you.
They'll absolutely, because they're going to think you're a go-getter. And then some people are like, well, I don't know any banks. I don't know who to even talk to. At your real estate meeting, go up to Steven and say, hey, Steven, you know some banks, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course he does. If I took you and your banker to lunch, you think you could get your banker to lunch to go with me so I could ask some questions? What are you going to say? I like to eat.
Yeah.
Of course.
And it's free.
Absolutely.
Where we're going.
We're
I even took Robert Elder lunch.
Yeah, of course.
And he said yes.
Because he likes to eat.
And it was expensive. It was some salmon. But it was the best salmon because I found a bank. I took Robert out to lunch. And we had He ordered salmon. I was like, damn, $20. It's all right. It's okay.
And usually he's vegetarian, so he got off hard.
So he referred a bank, and that bank is loaning me money all because of that great guy, just by asking someone to lunch.
Absolutely. So get into your real estate meetings, learn from that. Literally everything I've learned from or because of going to those meetings. That's how I got a mentor.
Sure.
And get a mentor.
Okay. So 2011, you're killing it 4 years. How about your day job? What's your goals there? I know that your boss is probably going to listen to this deal, but are you planning on living there forever? All right, we had some technical difficulties. BS. Anyway, we're Mike has been great with the random mic in his mouth now. But all right, so you're talking about your job. You are you going to quit your job? What's your future? I mean, obviously you don't need to work now. 50 units, you should be almost enough. But tell me about that. Tell me what your vision on your job.
So long-term goal over the next 2 to 3 years is to get into full-time real estate investing. My doctor that I work with, I help him manage his properties during the day. So now I have pretty much ultimate flexibility. Like I'm sitting here with you right now, and I could be at my office.
Sure.
He knows I'm here,
Cool.
so he'll listen.
Can't wait to have him hear it.
Absolutely, he'll love it. So our goal is to get some free time over the next couple of years to where we can make real estate our number one income and somehow either have people work for us in ophthalmology or do something different with the ophthalmology business, because he wants to be a real estate investor too.
Cool. So he wants to go full time as well?
Absolutely.
So that's cool. You got like two friends out there helping each other achieve this goal of financial freedom through real estate.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Tell me about something that was a mistake that you went wrong. Not necessarily banking, just rental, purchasing a property. Tell me something that you did wrong and how'd you correct it?
I got a laundry list of mistakes. I'm good at doing that. I thought about this last night because I knew you were going to ask me that. I would say for a new person, the things that I screwed up the most is not treating it like it was a business right out of the chute. Because it's still, for me, it's kind of a part-time gig, even though between mine and my docs, I manage like 89 doors. My day job is still my number one priority in the middle of the day. So rent collection, going and checking on properties, those kind of things I let slide. So you get behind 2 months in rent, you're never getting that back.
Sure.
So getting on you don't pay on the 1st, you get the notice on the 5th, we go to court on the 10th. Now that I do that, I don't have near the headaches. And
so you're managing these properties?
Absolutely, myself, yeah.
And you're managing your bosses as well?
Absolutely.
So, okay, so you have a day job.
Yes.
And you work with eye surgeons and help people
Yes.
get their laser eye surgery.
Yes.
By day.
By day.
And you're a dad.
Super dad.
How many kids do you have?
2 kids. Only 2. That's all we're having.
Yeah. Anyway, and then, so how do you find time? What keeps you motivated? What keeps you going? Tell us like a daily routine. What time you wake up? What time you go to bed?
I wake up at 5:15. I'm pretty health conscious. You can see my healthy shake there.
Yeah,
Get up. I make everybody some healthy shakes for breakfast. Work on paperwork, property management, because I've got a software. You have to have software. You can't make it. Catch up my banking. Make sure I'm good. I do all that before I leave the house, so I can write down a few things that I need to accomplish with real estate every day in the morning, and I get those done. And it's not daunting. I don't give myself 48 things because that's retarded. I'm only going to do 2 or 3. So I put those on the list, the most important things. Go to work from, 8-ish to 5-ish. I'm pretty flexible there. So if I need to cut in and out, I can cut in and out. From 5 or when I leave work, whatever time that is, 4:35 until my kids go to bed at 8 o'clock, I'm straight up dad. I don't answer the phone. You can't talk to me. I'm a dad.
Sure.
My kids go to bed. I'm a real estate investor again, looking at properties,
last minute,
doing
finding
things.
deals. I guess you're flexible now. You can go look at deals.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good at. Usually, when I'm in buying mode, I'll go on the weekends. My realtor knows what's up, so we'll go for 3 or 4 hours and look at 10 properties, and I make offers on all of them. Like if I go out and look at it, I'm going to offer something.
Sure.
I learned that from Robert Elder. Just if I wasted my time to go out there, I'll put an offer out. Even if it's stupid, I'll make it.
Cool.
But setting up systems to protect you from yourself, making sure that you have a way to funnel money aside for repairs and making sure you have a way to funnel money aside for property taxes. Because on commercial loans, there's no escrow, buddy. That's all you. You got to pay it.
Insurance too.
Absolutely.
So taxes and insurance, and you got to hedge against it, like save.
Absolutely.
Monthly.
And I did a bad job of that at first because I have a rather large real estate ego. I think I'm pretty good at it. And so I'm like, I can solve that, So if I rob a little bit from my repairs to acquire a property,
so true.
You know exactly what I do. So set up systems to protect you from yourself because you just add a tremendous amount of stress. And yes, you may get a couple assets faster, and I sure did. But sleepless nights and, oh man, I gotta come up with, $1,000 next week and $1,000 a week after that to pay my property insurance, and I probably should have had that in escrow, and that should have been a nothing deal. But now I got to figure out how to find $1,000.
I'll look in the bank, the savings. I've got to move my savings account because I see a lot of money in my savings,
and you want to grab it.
I got a deal for $20,000. I can just use that savings.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always look at other investors that are 3 or 4 years behind it, or 3 years in their taxes. I'm like, how'd they do that? why did they're done? No, I understand that, that when you have more than 10 properties, it gets a little, your whole vision changes and what you're trying to do.
So part of my last refi, I pulled some cash out, and that's what I did is I set up those escrow accounts to protect myself from myself. Because even with 4 years of experience, which isn't a lot,
sure,
but I've got a lot of properties, I still make rookie mistakes.
Oh man.
And those mistakes can really hurt you. So that's part of, in order for me to be a full-time investor, those are the things I have to do better to protect myself from myself.
Okay. So what, do you have like a long-term goal? Like, is there a number? How many units? Does your wife work now?
She does.
She does? Okay.
She does.
Is that a plan? She loves her job? Or?
She's an interior designer. She's actually
not working. She's playing.
She actually designs the inside of private jets, which sounds super duper fancy. But
that's sexy.
She does a lot of AutoCAD during the day. It's like 20% design and 80% AutoCAD.
Oh man, that's awesome. Such a cool job at a party. Hey, what do you do? Well, I design private jets.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So she kind of has a really flexible schedule, so she's able to take the kids to school, which we can drop them off at 8:20, and she can pick them up at 3:30. Her boss is really cool with this whole deal, so she kind of has a 2/3 time job, which is pretty sweet. So that adds some help, especially when you're going to the bank and we have 2 incomes and real estate. That really helps with the bank. So in order for me to be a full-time investor, though, I got to have my accounts built up so they can say, hey,
sure,
you don't have that day job to fall back on where you're making some money.
Well, that happens now too, because they look at your portfolio, and I was interviewed Luke the other day, and he was trying to borrow money, and he has like 15 units, but he had no money in the bank.
Yeah,
and they weren't going to loan him any more money until they threw out a number of at least $2,000 or $3,000 per unit. So he roughly needed about $30,000 in the bank liquid for them to proceed and loan him any more money.
Absolutely.
Of course, it's a conservative game for the bankers, but as a real estate investor, I could use that $50,000, that $20,000, especially since you use your life insurance. It's just been sitting there, and now you're exercising. I mean, you're making $100 a month forever,
absolutely,
and then or 12 years, like you just refinanced. So 12 years, man, it's remarkable.
And then that house will make like $500 a month when it's paid off.
Well, it's appreciated.
That'd be fantastic.
And it might be worth $80.
And the rent will probably go up too.
Here's another thing I learned from Robert Elder the other day. We're talking about that guy. We're all up on his breast assists. Anyway, so he said all houses doubled in 15 years. Did you see him speak on that one time?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I was like, that's BS. And sure enough, if you buy it right, I've seen my own house. It's been 16 years since I've been an investor. At least 70% of my portfolio has doubled
wild?
In equity.
Yeah. And the rent's more. You get to charge more rent.
Yeah. Well, they're slow here in Oklahoma. Depends on what side of town, but like Northwest side for sure. All right. What else? Is there anything else? Single commercial thoughts? Are you going to go to multi? Do you think you'll ever?
I do have some multi now. I've got a 16-unit building and a 5-unit building.
Do you like those?
There's pros and cons. From a cash flow perspective, they're amazing.
Sure.
Single families, you put somebody in the house. I don't hear from them.
Set it, forget it.
Multifamily, put somebody in an apartment. The person above them is too loud. Somebody parked in their parking spot. They got their bugs. It's a whole different slew.
Especially since it's raining.
Yeah, it's just a different set of issues. I had a partner in my multi-units, and he didn't like the phone calls, and he didn't like dealing with those people. So he ended up, I just bought him out with that last refi. So
that's awesome. Good job, man.
He didn't like all that. He wasn't cut out to be a landlord, and that's part of the deal. If you're going to buy a multi-unit, you need to be ready if you're going to manage it yourself for those. So to answer your question, I want to buy a big enough building that I can have someone else manage it for me and still make some money. So I'm looking at the 50 to 75 unit building. Yep. And my doc friend and I think we're going to partner on something and get something a little bit bigger so I don't have to do the management. Excellent.
Is there anything that you would do differently this far? I mean, you've been living the dream.
I love it.
I mean, you're working at your day job. It's so cool. Did you listen to Luke's podcast?
I did.
The young little freaking whippersnapper, never going to work again. He's never had a job.
I know.
And now you, a little bit older, you're still young. I
was going to say, easy.
You're 36,
easy.
30, something.
36, yeah.
And you've worked, and you have a family, so you know what it takes. And then one day you'll check out and
That
not do
would be
anymore.
So cool. So what to do different?
What to do different. You got some notes there. I like that.
Yeah, I did.
All right.
I think I touched on it a little bit before. Running it like it really is a business from house number one. And Robert even told me that, and it didn't sink in right. So I'll be your second voice of reason here. Run it like it's a business. Collect the rent, even if you have a job, and even if you can afford the monthly payment, you don't need to make it. The renter makes the payment.
Right.
That's how that works. If they don't make the payment to you, find another renter, because there's a whole bunch of renters out there that can make the payment on time. And just don't sacrifice size for doing it right, because you don't want the heartache of being 3 years behind on your taxes. I didn't get that bad, but I was certainly a year behind.
Yeah, that's happened to me like a year, almost 2 years, and I almost had a panic attack.
Yeah, it's not good.
It looked like I was falling off a cliff.
So really, just do it right, set it up, and if that costs you, if you don't buy 2 extra houses this year because you set it up right, you'll sleep better.
Oh, did you answer that question? Where you're going to be? What's the number?
I don't have a number.
Just
I kind of have a...
No, I've changed this now. This is a loaded question because I used to say this, and then I read the book called Life in Air.
Yeah.
Did you read that book?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I know. It changed me. Then I wanted to be completely debt free, and then now I'm ramping the deal up like heavy right now.
So when I started, because when Robert mentored me, that was one of the things they did. I had to write my goals down. So in 2012, my goal was to have 100 units by 10 years.
Oh yeah.
So I'm 3 years into that, and we got 52. So that's pretty much a
100 units. That was the same goal. I don't know. It's like you got to graduate.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, you got to get in commercial.
I got
to buy an apartment building because that's what they do.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I thought. I was like, that's why I wanted that 16 unit so bad. I was like, man, I really want that. And then that comes with a lot of headache. So I've started buying some more single family houses, and everybody does their own thing. There's a whole bunch of ways, but my end goal is to have enough financial resources to take care of my parents.
Cool.
They sacrificed a lot for me to go to college. My dad didn't go to college. He said he wanted me to go to college so I could do better. And he's always been entrepreneurial. He's always been looking for that thing, and he never really found it, and I did.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
And so, and my mom, she'll even tell me, like, I'm so much like my dad, but I found the one thing that's going to make me wealthy, and he didn't get that.
And you randomly found it from a boss at a random job, which is just incredible.
Yeah, but you got to make effort. I mean, this isn't like...
Oh, no, we make it sound easy over here.
You have to do the job. You have to put the work in. But anyway, so to take care of them, and my grandmother, she's about to run out of money, and she needs to go to like a memory care place. That just pains me that like literally right now I can't afford to fix that. So
Sure.
That's one of my drivers is I don't want to get my parents into a situation where I can't help them because I don't have enough money. So that's where I'm at. That's what gets me up in the morning. And then teaching my kids. My 7-year-old and my 5-year-old, they went with me all weekend. They know how to collect rent. They help me suck up water from the flooded house. They know what's up. I mean...
Yeah, I just learned that too.
I'm sorry.
No, that's some good information. Anyway, Mike, we're going to wrap this deal up. Do you, Luke was on, I asked follow-up with Luke. People were texting him and emailing him or emailing him.
Sure.
Is that cool? Because I think you have a great personality. I remember when I first met you and you were on stage at the Millionaire Possibilities, and Robert was interviewing. This guy is so genuine, and I'm like, how does he have 50 units? You look at this guy, he shouldn't have 50 units. He shouldn't be down digging, getting it dirty. This guy's killing it, working 10 jobs, sees the future. People want to connect with you because I know there's some
Sure.
people out there maybe on life insurance or something.
Sure.
Give out whatever you want to give out.
Sure. My email address that I use for real estate is megarentals, MEGARENTALSOKC @yahoo.com. Megarentals@yahoo.com.
Awesome. Hit Mike up. Also, if you have a question, you can text us at ask. You text this number 545454 ASK and say ask Mike Lewis, and I'll forward that text to him, or your email, or you can get on our text blast. We'll let you know what's going down. I'm truly excited for number 3 with a great friend that I've met through the RIAs, and just a pleasure. He's always out killing it and learning, and even went to a seminar not too long ago, and all the way in Dallas. And Mike, you're an inspiration to me, and hopefully to our listeners, the future. And we're just honored to have you here.
Thanks for having me. It's been really fun.
All right, this is Steve Van Kamberg, the Savvy Landlord with the Savvy Radio Show. You can check us out online. You can download this podcast, listen to it. You should listen to it 3 or 4 times. One, I listened and learned about life insurance, and you can find this copy of this podcast and other podcasts at this SavvyRadioshow.com. That's SavvyRadioshow.com. Have a great day and buy assets.